Hey everyone, today I decided to do a quick and simple video about lactose intolerance, lactose malabsorption, and milk allergy, since I see many people who are not aware of the difference between them, and even though they frequently show up in our population. Even I did not realize how badly I absorb lactose until recently. So let's look at this fascinating topic today. Lactose intolerance is the inability to metabolize lactose, a sugar found in dairy products. The amount of lactose that affected individuals can tolerate before developing symptoms varies. Symptoms include abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, flatulence, and vertigo. Typically, these symptoms begin 30 minutes to 2 hours after consuming a milk-based product or beverage. Their severity typically depends on the amount of food or liquid consumed. The gastrointestinal tract itself is not harmed by lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is caused by a deficiency in the lactase enzyme in the small intestine, which breaks down lactose into glucose and galactose. Primary, secondary, developmental, and congenital are the four categories of lactose intolerance. Age-related lactase deficiency leads to the development of lactose intolerance. Due to small intestine damage, secondary lactose intolerance can also develop. This lesion may have been caused by an infection, celiac disease, inflammatory bowel disease, or other disease. Premature infants may develop themselves lactose intolerance, which typically improves within a brief period of time. In exceedingly rare cases of congenital lactose intolerance, little or no lactase is produced at birth. The most prevalent form of lactose intolerance, primary lactose intolerance, typically manifests in late childhood or early adulthood, but prevalence increases with age. This is because the enzyme lactase is only useful to us humans and some animals like cats only when we are babies and are given breast milk by our mothers, which contains, among other useful nutrients, lactose. However, afterwards, the enzyme is not all that useful since we start eating other types of foods. So the quote-unquote natural thing is for the body to be lactose intolerant. However, since us uh, as a society started using cow's milk to drink or make dairy products with, our bodies in some cases have evolved in order to maintain the lactase enzyme. When lactose intolerance is caused by secondary lactase deficiency, treating the underlying disease may restore normal lactase activity. Lactose intolerance typically reverses or improves in celiac disease patients several months after beginning a gluten-free diet, but lactose restriction may be required temporarily. Individuals with primary lactase deficiency are incapable of altering their body's capacity to produce lactase. In societies where lactose intolerance is prevalent, it is not considered a treatable condition. However, where dairy is a significant part of the average diet, a number of interventions may be necessary. Regarding lactose intolerance, there are four general principles: avoidance of dietary lactose, substitution to maintain nutrient intake, regulation of calcium intake, and the use of enzyme substitutes. Regular dairy consumption by lactose-deficient individuals may also reduce intolerance symptoms by promoting adaptation of the colonic bacteria. Well, okay, that is fine and all, but what is the difference between intolerance and allergy? Milk allergy is distinct from lactose intolerance. Intolerance is typically treated by reducing the intake of lactose, consuming lactase supplements, or treating the underlying disease. At least 1 cup of milk can be consumed without developing symptoms, with higher quantities tolerated if consumed with a meal or throughout the day. Lactose intolerance is not an allergy because it is not an immune response. Rather, it is a sensitivity to dairy induced by a lactase enzyme deficiency. Milk allergy, which affects approximately 2% of the population, is a distinct condition characterized by distinct symptoms triggered by an immune response to milk proteins. Congenital lactase deficiency, or lactose intolerance in neonate, is caused by a mutation in the LCT gene. The LCT gene encodes lactase production instructions. It is believed that mutations interfere with the function of lactase, resulting in severely impaired lactose digestion in breastfed and formula-fed infants. Lactose intolerance in adults is caused by the progressive decrease in activity or expression of the LCT gene that occurs in the majority of humans after childhood. The DNA sequence within the MC-M6 gene controls whether the LCT gene is active or inactive. At least a few thousand years ago, some humans develop a mutation in the MC-M6 gene that maintains the LCT gene's activation after weaning. This mutation is absent in lactose-intolerant populations. Both the LCT and MC-M6 genes are located in region 21 on the long arm or Q of chromosome number 2. Moving on with lactose malabsorption. Around 65% of individuals worldwide have lactose malabsorption. The prevalence of lactose tolerance varies significantly between regions and ethnic groups in the present day. The ability to digest lactose is most prevalent among individuals of European descent, with exception in certain regions of the Middle East and Africa. Lactose intolerance is most prevalent among individuals of Jewish descent as well as in numerous African and Arab nations. Traditional food cultures reflect local variations in tolerance, and historically, many societies have adapted to low levels of tolerance by producing lactose-reduced dairy products. The medicalization of lactose intolerance as a disorder has been attributed to biases in research history, as the majority of early studies were conducted on normally tolerant populations, as well as the cultural and economic significance of milk in countries such as the USA. Another similar condition is hyperlactasia, which is a condition in which the small intestine produces minimal or no lactase enzyme. The consumption of lactose sugar cannot be processed by the digestive system, and the unprocessed sugar in the intestines causes lactose intolerance-like symptoms. Lactose is predominantly found in dairy products, which vary in their lactose content. Unprocessed cow's milk, for example, contains approximately 4.7% lactose, while goat's milk contains 4.7, sheep's milk contains 4.8, and so on and so forth. If made traditionally, sour cream and buttermilk may be tolerable, but most modern brands include milk solids. Butter, which is made through a process of removing lactose in large quantities, may still have small amounts of lactose. Cheese, both fermenting and age-reduced cheeses, have reduced amounts of lactose. Traditionally produced hard cheeses may contain as little as 10% of the lactose present in an equivalent volume of milk. However, processed cheese may be produced using methods that lack the same lactose-reducing properties. When lactose avoidance is impossible, or when a person chooses to consume lactose-containing food, lactase enzymes may be used. Fungi of the genus Aspergillus produce industrial lactase enzymes comparable to those produced in the human small intestine. In many countries, galactosidase is available in tablet form in a range of concentration without prescription. Due to the addition of gastric juices from the stomach, it is only effective in high acid environments, such as those found in the human intestine. Unfortunately, excessive gastric acid can denaturate it, so it should not be consumed on an empty stomach. In addition, the enzyme is ineffective if it does not reach the small intestine before the offending food. Individuals with lactose intolerance can experiment with timing and dosages to meet their specific requirements. So that's it from me. We've learned a little bit about lactose intolerance, malabsorption, and a little bit about milk allergies. These are all fascinating topics that I urge you to go read upon yourselves, and maybe you will find that you are a little bit uh, you also are not able to absorb lactose as much as you think you can. So thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe for more. Goodbye.